Nobody's listening, right? Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Is anybody listening?
Boy, are they. Were we at 20 countries last week? Because we're at 21 countries this week.
We got a new country.
International fan mom, totally listening from Canada. You guys are so lovable and relatable. Your show is so good for the soul. I find myself laughing more at the mundane realities of life with my family after connecting to this show.
Oh, shit.
Thanks for the tip, St. Monica. Ooh.
I love Monica.
Oh my
so
gosh.
much.
This one, that was from Cool Jules.
Cool Jules.
This is from
Very cool.
Hannah McLevin.
Okay.
I'm listening. Andy, Elizabeth, and Andy are the best, and I'm so happy to have them back. Totally Married was the first podcast I ever listened to.
Aww.
I hope you two continue. I said, I hope you guys communicate. I hope you
Freudian
two
slip.
continue to podcast for a long time.
That's sweet. I think we
Holy
will.
shit. Is this our first Japan review from LoveNats13?
Oh.
I'm not sure. Delightable and relatable. 5 stars. I've been a listener since Totally Mommy. This podcast makes my day so delightful in Japan. I just love moments when Elizabeth and Andy start to laugh so hard that I don't hear anything but them trying to gasp for air.
That's great. Japan has a special place in my heart right now because our kids are very into Japanese culture, mostly through the portal of video games. But like our son, I genuinely think is going to start learning Japanese. And when I was just in Vancouver, I went and got ramen with Lauren Lapkus, the mega talented, incredible actor and human. And she and her husband are really like, they've been to Japan a bunch. Her husband knows Japanese and learned it as an adult. So
Really?
I had reached out to him through Lauren about teaching, like how to teach kids Japanese. And I think in the new year, it's a goal to get that started.
Wow. That's huge.
I know.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you for the reviews, everyone. That is incredible. Thank you to our new patrons. A bunch of people signed up for Patreon this week.
No shit?
Yeah. And also, you posted like a longer clip from episode 39.
It's hard for me to do.
Why? Oh, because it's about when you kiss that girl.
Nah, I mean, that's pretty, well, yeah. But it's like seeing that long, when we make these little clips, we're like grabbing little funny clips or stuff like that, and it's like short. But when you see the whole time, you see our reactions the whole time, and there's parts of it where I have like my hands on my face looking like worried and bored. There's parts like it's just like I feel
You're
like
getting the real of it.
it's just like too much. Like I don't think I was built for being on camera like that.
I would disagree.
Oh, Elizabeth, lame. Quit it.
Okay, well, we have so much to cover today.
Can I tell you one quick thing?
Sure.
Just talking about that incident about me kissing that girl. I was thinking about how that really was a big fuck up, right?
Sure.
But, and yet, 15 years later, provided us with one of the most funny, joyful moments we've had in a little bit. Like, or I don't know if that's true, but you know what I mean? We laughed so hard about this thing.
Yeah.
That was so dumb that I did 15 years
You
ago.
did.
But it made me not stress the dumb stuff I did as much back in the day. Because it was like, you know what?
Yeah.
It was dumb. I've grown, I think you could say.
Yes.
And look at us laughing about it now. So I don't know what the takeaway is that, except I think just like, again,
yeah.
go big or go home when you're in your 20s.
Okay. I do think when I met you, were you in kind of a spiraling out dark place? Because a lot of your behavior at that time was very reckless. The way you lived didn't show much reverence for like the value of life.
Really?
Yeah, dude. You were smoking
Don't yeah, dude me.
2 packs of cigarettes per day.
Oh, I miss those.
You lived in total fucking swell. I mean, that's what I mean. Like when I think back to how many red flags there would have been that I overlooked. That, you know, obviously my bar as a 24-year-old was very different.
You are coming out of finding out that someone you were dating had been
And lived
married
with.
before and didn't know before, and you
I found his wedding album
you kind of realized
in our home.
you were coming into this at a very low time, so your bar must have been very low.
I think my bar was low, and there was a perfect storm of like, you were my crush, so that gave you like, you know,
Power.
many like a jump ahead in the game. I knew you. I knew like your background. That's huge. Then on top of it, the fact that we were in New York City, like if you had been living the way you were living in like Des Moines, it would have been like, no. But there was something.
That's a very interesting point, and I really agree with you.
Like there was something almost romantic about this like little New York City street punk music kid who was smoking his way through every night making music, had these dreams like I did, and then working at Manhattan Shade and Glass during the day, driving the van around or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. It sort of made sense, and it also made sense with, you know, our peers at that time.
Yes.
When you're in your 20s in New York trying to figure shit out. But
Yeah.
I
think you also gave my group of friends like a little bit of street cred. Like all of my friends, we were all working in advertising and, you know, working our way up the corporate ladder. And I was doing comedy shows and stuff. But like meeting you and your friends who were living kind of a more, I don't know. Also, this is right around like Sex and the City. And so seeing all of these facets of New York City being like romanticized and stuff, you guys ticked a box for us. And I feel like we hadn't had access to.
I feel like there were, and like taking you to like, what was the when you saw Jim Jarmusch stuff.
Yes, that underground cool bar. You knew where to go in the East Village, whereas I was going to the like yuppie Murray Hill, you know, whatever bar. So
right.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, I was just thinking it was kind of funny. I was just thinking of like
how that ultimately you won because you thought it would be funny, and 15 years later, it really is.
Holy shit. Psychic Andy. That's all I'm going to say.
That was a risk.
Okay. Anyways, moving forward.
Okay. So we had some promises for this week's episode. You were going to talk to me about the UFO.
Ready to go. Did a lot of research this week.
Honestly, I am primed. Like, you couldn't have hit me at a more perfect time.
About UFOs?
Yeah, because I forgot about our research. And so this morning, I quickly did like a string theory for dummies search. And I will say, you are talking to me right now at a time when I have never felt so dumb. And like, I don't know anything. So who am I to say that?
So you didn't do the homework?
No, I did. And I will explain string theory as best I can. But what I'm trying to tell you is that even trying to learn about string theory in the most like through cartoons.
You've spent like 3 minutes trying to learn it.
No, I spent 10 minutes.
And then gave up?
No. Do you want me to go first?
Apparently, yes, I really do.
No, I didn't give up. I just realized very quickly
how dumb you are.
How dumb I am. I honestly, Andy,
I wish we had the tape of last week because I feel like, were you confident about this? Or
No.
No, okay. I don't want to get my wires crossed. What was the feeling last week about you and
that
string
I
theory?
don't know what it is, but
So we were just curious.
so we were just curious.
Okay.
But I thought that if I got into a headspace and took 10 minutes, I could at least understand the basics. And I watched 2 different YouTube videos that were made for children, I think, to understand this. And I still don't. But here's what I do know. I mean, first of all, what I didn't realize, you hear string theory, and I assume that's like a very much like set in stone scientific theory. That's, I guess the word theory.
Yeah,
kind
that's I think that's
whatever.
a flag, maybe.
Turns out it's a little bit controversial.
Like QAnon-y?
No. It's controversial the way like
Vaccines are?
cannibalism. Yeah, no. I'm just joking. It's controversial because
Some people don't believe it's real.
please just let me talk. This is so annoying. It's controversial in the sense that it was created basically here. I'll get to why it's controversial. God, people should probably just skip ahead. I'm about to sound.
I feel like
so
I'm jumping on
stupid.
stuff because I feel like you don't know anything.
No, I'm gonna
Okay,
explain.
I won't say anything.
Okay, so
I'll raise my hand if I have a question.
first of all, science, we make up theories and stories that can be tested as best to make sense of the world around us. And so one way we make sense of things is by looking at them. You're raising your Andy, yes, go ahead.
Can you just explain string theory?
I
I
am.
feel like you're setting a stage in the way that the stage doesn't need to be set. Like you're teaching us about like the scientific method and what a hypothesis and stuff is. We don't need that. We just want to know what string theory is.
Okay.
Okay.
It's all related, and the
Okay,
best I
okay.
can do
Fair
is
enough.
explain it the way.
You can do it. I'm sorry. This is not fair.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So we thought that like atoms were the smallest particles that there were, but then we smashed 2 atoms together and realized that there are elemental particles. Please stop. But the problem is these particles are so small that we can't see them.
Then how we know they're there?
Exactly. So we tried to create like energy wavelengths or something, but when those bounce towards them, the particles are so small they just bounce away. So there is a reality that we don't know where these elemental particles are in space and time. But to make a hypothesis, scientists were like, okay, well, we'll say that they're like these points of particles and they're like here. And then, but there was a problem. Gravity. The physics of gravity did not work with the thesis that these particles are points in time or space. And so someone created, instead of them being points, they're strings. And something to do with the strings makes it make sense, mostly, but not in our 4 dimensions. So they created new dimensional realities, like they created like fake multi-dimensional realities that if this theory could work, and it works in a 10-dimensional reality, but it doesn't work in our 4-dimensional reality. So so that's why it's controversial. It's like basically a story scientists made up to make our universe make sense, but it doesn't work in all ways. It works in a lot of ways. So it's something to do with...
Will you do your homework next time we do something like this?
Oh, Andy, this is the best I can do.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Points? And then there's strings,
Yes,
4D, 10,
that's what it is.
10D.
Okay. Do you want me to read Wikipedia?
No, I don't think so.
10D. God, Just go fuck yourself.
What's 10D? What's the fourth dimension now, by the way?
I'm
That's
looking
what
it
I
up.
thought.
Four-dimensional space.
Wait, can you just look up string theory, like the first paragraph on Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. In physics, string theory is a theoretical framework
Okay.
in which the point-like particles of particle physics are replaced by one-dimensional objects called strings.
Okay.
String theory describes how these strings propagate through space and interact with each other. On distance scales larger than the string scale, a string looks just like an ordinary particle with its mass, charge, and other properties determined by the vibrational state of the string. In string theory, one of the many vibrational states of the string corresponds to the graviton, a quantum mechanical particle that carries the gravitational force. Thus, string theory is a theory of quantum gravity. Now, this is really interesting because this is the first thing I read when I did my 10-minute research.
Kind of confusing, right? Like, what is all this stuff?
And then now I'm like, I know what it's talking about. And didn't it sound pretty close to what I was saying?
Yeah, you're super in the ballpark. I'll give you that.
Okay.
I
just thought string theory had more to do with like stacked time, or I thought it had more to do with like time space continuum stuff.
Yeah. What's
don't
all
know.
that stuff? Why is it called quantum physics? Does quantum mean 4 dimensions?
Oh, interesting.
Will you look up what the word quantum?
Yeah. Quantum. This is the stupidest podcasting that has ever happened. Quantum. A discrete quantity of energy proportional in magnitude to the frequency. I don't know.
Now let's move on.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, good try. That's what I would say.
Do you
to
understand if you were trying to explain string theory to someone?
No.
Okay.
Do you?
Just did. I guess I can try to explain it to someone, but I guess not in a way that they then understand it, which is kind of the point of explaining. I mean,
It also sounds like
the test of if you can explain it to someone is if they understand it.
But do you feel like you understand it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about aliens.
Okay.
So,
This is perfect. I'm going to buy into everything.
well, okay. What I set out to dig up was I said that like our government has been like saying like, oh yeah, there's
Covering up.
there's aliens. And so I set out to find that. So all I was looking for was US government like thumbs up. Yeah, aliens might be real. And because boy oh boy has it been bubbling the last 3 years during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say that they've been revealing it during the pandemic, during times so not as many people would notice it when there was like other bad stuff going on. But anyways, oh my God, I just got the biggest tickle in the back of my throat or like sore throat like instantly. Like it just got off the plane and was like, hey, I'm here. Like
Just now?
instantly.
Do you think because you're talking about aliens?
This is so weird. Either I'm getting sick or some weird thing just happened. Okay. Very weird. In 2021, let me back up. In 2019, the New York Times posted some naval videos from like 2005 to like 2015, a few different ones of naval videos that show what appear to be like UFOs, and it has the cockpit recordings of the naval pilots being like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
Ooh.
what the fuck is that? And
That's fun.
we can look at those later.
Well, I kind of want to hear them.
So we just didn't set up for that, I don't think.
Okay.
Maybe we'll circle back on that. So it was kind of a big deal, and other people have been like, yeah, these videos have been circulating around. And anyways, in 2021, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, officially declassified those videos, 3 of them, and said, yes, these are indeed real videos. They're not like doctored or fakes. These are real. And no, we do not know what those unidentified objects are.
What did they look like?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
Maybe we will watch this together in a moment.
Yeah.
So that happened in 2021, and it was a big deal because people were like, holy shit, the Pentagon admitted that these are real.
Yeah.
Which so many people have been shouting from the rooftops, and the New York Times even did an article and posted the videos. But there were still so many people who were like, these are bullshit, they could be totally faked. Like, so it was a big deal. That same year, Barack Obama went on the James Corden show and said, and I quote, "There is footage and records of objects in the sky that we don't know exactly what they are." And that was the first time like a former president in that public of a space had said something like that, which was a big deal. So then the U.S. government released a much anticipated report on UFOs, also in 2021. And it said in the report of the 144 sightings that couldn't be explained.
144?
We can't explain 143 of them. The one they could explain was a weather balloon.
And is this all over United States soil?
I'm assuming so. I only went into the U.S. stuff. So then last year, NASA announced that it was putting together a panel to study unidentified aerial phenomena, i.e. UFOs, and that it was staffed up and getting ready to work. It was very impressive with a bunch of planetary scientists, astrophysicists, experts from the Federal Aviation Administration, data scientists, and a celebrated astronaut. And so that was another big deal, too. So you had the Pentagon in 2021 with all that stuff. Then NASA being like, yeah, we're putting together a panel to study UFOs, essentially. And then Congress also last year, or this year, added an amendment to the latest defense budget to create a UAP office, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Office, which the Pentagon has launched this year.
And how does Blink 182 factor into all of this?
So, when Tom left the band for the second time in 2015,
what's his role in the band?
He's one of the singers. So, 2 singers and then Travis Barker playing the drums.
Okay.
So he started an organization called To the Stars, which has like turned out to be seemingly like almost like a media company now. They like produce shows on the History Channel and other things, but they were the people. It looks like in partnership with the New York Times that helped officially put these videos out in 2019. That was one of their first biggest like, look at these fucking videos. This shit's real. Mm-hmm. So since then, and a lot of people. A lot of people were like looking at Tom DeLonge, like being like, "Dude, what? Like, what's going on? You're into aliens.
Night, come home. Work sucks." I know. Oh no!
Oh my God, we're gonna have to start over again. Hold on.
Oh yeah, you gotta make sure you stop it.
I can't.
Well,
It's not. It just when you touch it, it snoozes. Now I'm in alarms. What the fuck just happened? Snoozing. I don't want to snooze you.
Hey. Ruin your day.
It's not. Stop it. I can't even find it. It's gonna happen again.
Go to the dynamic island.
It's not there. Don't even you dare say. Go to the fucking dynamic island. It's not there. Maybe it's gone. Maybe it won't happen now. Let's really hope that it doesn't happen now.
God, I hope not. I don't know what you're gonna do.
keep this in, maybe not. We'll see. So, anyways, and then so it's pretty impressive. So Tom is one of the founders of this group called To the Stars, and then there's some other people that have better credentials than being in a big rock band.
Yeah.
And so they are, in many ways, the Pentagon thing and then NASA and Congress stuff really helped give Tom DeLonge and the To the Stars thing some much needed legitimacy, if you will. And it does seem that there is just this shift that's happening that, like, okay, maybe we're destigmatizing alien stuff a little bit.
And it is about time.
Right?
We destigmatize alien stuff.
Right.
No. Tom DeLonge named his son's middle name is Rocket. That seems right.
That's cute.
What I'm hearing is that it's no longer considered like you're crazy for thinking it might exist.
Exactly, which did so much for all these people that have been saying it they exist.
But
and
why
getting,
did they
and getting,
think? Why did they have an experience? Did they get abducted? Like,
I think they have had experiences and or a lot of similar footage, like this Navy footage, has been floating around for a while. I would say even like from the 90s. I feel like I even remember seeing stuff in college, people being like, did you see this crazy Brazil video? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think there has been a lot of footage for a while, and now we're getting to a place. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I just do want to say this. Tom DeLonge has been a believer in aliens, UFOs, and conspiracy theories since his youth. He would look for UFOs.
Sorry. Sorry. I was just trying to cue up the video to show you.
He would look for UFOs outside the tour bus window and even created search parties to find Bigfoot. So this is where I'm like, you can... Some people are just drawn to conspiracy theories and, it's this weird... It's problematic in our society in the sense of, I mean, we can see it with QAnon and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People think that being a contrarian means that they're outside the box thinkers and that makes them more intelligent or more something. But the truth is you're just following conspiracy for the sake of feeling like you're believing in something different from other people, and it creates real problems.
Sure.
So I'm not quick to embrace like the conspiracy from the Blink-182 guy about UFOs and stuff.
Yeah.
But if the government, what the government is saying is there's been stuff in the sky over our airspace that we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after getting the Hubble telescope stuff or whatever what was that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The new
James Webb telescope
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, the universe we live in is so expansive and so there's no world where there's not other life, and I think it's more a question of, can they reach us? Like, how many millions of light years away is it? You know, things like that. So
I think you're spot on. I also do think the technology's getting so advanced that I think all this is inevitable. Even the government's being like, oh yeah, we don't know what this stuff is.
Yeah.
Because I think they're prepping us for the big news, the big reveal.
What is that?
I don't know. I'm joking about that. But I do think there must be conversations going on with powerful people that are like, yeah, it's probably not a great idea to tell everybody what we know. I'll also say this, and I mentioned before, a good friend of mine in college I need to text her. Her uncle worked in, I want to say, at Area 51 or near Area 51. Is that one of the Nevada ones?
Yeah.
And
Or Arizona.
and had always told her and the rest of family, like, I have stories that I'll tell you someday.
Ooh.
So I don't know, and I'm just saying that for fun because that's a fun little story I've heard. But it is like, what do we gain with knowing maybe some crazy stuff that's happened?
I prefer just to keep living my human life and not like appreciate the stars, but not worry too much about it. If it goes down, I don't think we can be like prepared or anything.
Yeah.
You know.
But wouldn't you like to think that there is someone out there trying to be prepared in case something happens, that then they would like reveal themselves and be like,
I'm more like I hope that, and I think that it is happening, that scientists are prepared to divert or destruct an asteroid that's coming to Earth. Things like that are more, I feel like if aliens can figure out a way to get to us from wherever they are, their technology must be so, I mean, think about our technology even in the last 100 years. Like, we have no fucking idea what the technology is that they're using, and I don't even think we stand a chance. Our best bet would be to try to win them over. But
kill them with kindness?
Yeah. But what I wanted to say before this, where I feel so stupid today. I'm like, I've worked really hard. I've done pretty well in my career after a long time. I turned in an outline. I'm doing okay. Like, mentally, I'm
okay. Where are you going with this?
I don't know. I'm feeling really stupid right now. Hang on, and I lost my thought.
Aliens.
Aliens? Yeah. God damn it.
The problem with all this conspiracy stuff is the way that it... Who told me this? It might have been Jojo might have told me that a friend of his teaches a class at a university on conspiracies. I think the problem with it and why it's so seductive is that all these conspiracies, there's a nugget of truth to a lot of them, and or they are a direct relationship to something going on in the culture that's relevant, right? That's why these can catch such fire, is because a lot of times there is like a nugget of truth. Using this alien thing as an example, the government being like, yeah, we don't know what these 143 things are. That gives a lot of credit to all these people out there that have been like, I told you there's aliens.
Yeah.
Where, so it is an interesting thing.
You know, I have had the moment in my life where I was like, oh my God, it was true all along.
With what?
With aliens. No, I'm serious. You know this already, but I think that by the time I told you, I knew what was going on, but there was a real minute-long period of my life where I was like, it's going down. It would be akin to like the Book of Revelations happening and being like, oh my God, Christians were right all along. Like, the sky's opening and God coming down and being like, and this was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I was driving. Teddy was in the car and was facing backwards. That's, her seat was facing out the back window.
Oh, yeah.
Driving home, and it was like dusk. And Teddy's like, Mommy, there's something in the sky. It looks like it's, she started describing it. And I was like, oh, and truly was thinking, I wonder if someone has talked to her about UFOs, or like she saw a TV show about UFOs or something, because she's describing an alien invasion.
Yeah.
And then I park and I go to get her out, and there are a few neighbors out standing on the street looking up.
All looking up. Yeah.
And I look up and I see a big, huge UFO looking motherfucking crazy thing, very low,
Mm-hmm.
like hovering in the sky, this weird ghost like, but very clear,
Yeah.
huge object. And I did have that moment in time of like, oh my gosh, the wrath is happening. Like, here we go.
Mm.
And it turns out it was the Falcon X. Like, I don't know how they didn't like alert people. I mean, truly, I'm like, people could have had heart attacks.
Yeah.
It was Elon Musk doing his
Fucking
thing.
Elon Musk.
But this thing looked so fucking crazy,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
didn't know what
It's
to
just some
say
rocket,
to
right?
Teddy, and
Yeah.
it took a few minutes to figure out what was going on. But
Well, you got on Twitter. Our neighbors, everybody was trying to figure it out. It
yeah,
was
no
kind
one
of
knew what it
exciting.
was.
Yeah.
Maybe I might have a picture of it. I'll post
It's
on
a
our Instagram.
magical 15 minutes.
Whew, it was crazy.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question for you that might be a bit uncomfortable.
okay.
I have heard you
I have to stop you.
use no going back.
No, if this is about poop,
It's adjacent, but it's not about poop.
okay.
I've heard you fart
Oh, don't use the F word.
past gas
Okay.
more times in the last 3 weeks than our entire relationship. And that I am not exaggerating. And I want to know, number one, what's going on? Did you?
Oh.
Because it's not like you're doing it too much.
It's
But-
just I never did before.
Never. And I'm like, did you just decide 3 weeks ago, like, you know what? I'm just going to be me? Or is something going on?
Okay.
Do you know? Does this resonate at all? Because it's wild.
Can't breathe. Oh my god. I don't know the answer. I mean, I do. I think it's a combination of a couple things.
Okay.
I've been eating a lot more beans.
Oh. But have you, though?
Yeah, as part of this, the How Not to Die book thing, and like, beans are really good for you.
What
and
kind of beans?
black
When?
beans, baked beans, Bronzo beans.
Okay. But wait, honestly, this is so weird though. Are you hiding those from me? Like, when are you eating
No,
them?
like in soups or
Like
like yesterday, I had soup with beans in it.
okay.
Um,
So that's
Tofu.
one potential thing going
you
on.
know, and then
Tofu's a bean?
yeah, soybean.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, bean curd, right?
So, the other thing is that I might have kind of let the gate open in a way because I'm between you and like Otis, and I mean, you all are farting up a storm all the time, and you were so annoying about it. What was the one the other day where I feel like I was saying something to you really like. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I feel like I was saying something to you, like we were having a really deep philosophical conversation, and I was saying something really intense to you, and you were looking at me with like an intensity, and then you just let it rip.
I mean, those kill in those moments.
But
I don't even remember this though.
Anyway, so maybe I'm just kind of letting it fly a little bit more, but
So it's not a control issue. They're not getting away with you. You're releasing them on your own will.
they're not getting away with you.
Because, like, here's the thing. Like, since I've never... Like, we're talking in the last 3 weeks, like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe 15 times. And,
15?
And then the past
Oh.
15 years, 3 or something like that. So that's why I was just wondering
It
if
must
it's
be
if
the
it's like I
beans. It
don't.
must be
All right, it's not a problem for me. It just was
no.
a novel observation. It's like new, something new in our house.
God. Oh, okay. Well, I don't like it.
Okay, I have one more topic, unless you wanted to talk about something.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. We went up to the cabin after Thanksgiving, had a lovely time. I was fucking killing it with our wood burning stove this weekend, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And the first night, I didn't load it up enough going to bed, and I was a little chilly that night. So the second night, I did a little research on overnights and whatnot and how to get the fire ready for an overnight.
Mm-hmm.
But I did such a great job.
Excuse me.
And I was just laying in bed that night, admiring my work,
Mm-hmm.
staring at the fire, and thinking, fire's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And what that moment must have been like when A, the first time some humans see fire or animals see fire,
Uh-huh.
and then B, oh my God, the first time a human figured out how to harness and make their own fire.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you learn about this in school, how big of a deal it is, but it like
Do you?
finally clicked for me. And it's crazy. And just looking at it, it's like, what is it?
Well,
And
it's
it's-
energy.
It's energy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Going back to string theory. You know, energy can't be destroyed. So everything, all things, us, our cells, you know, it's energy contained in the form that it is. And then when you burn it, that heat, the look of it, it's pretty cool. I want to say neither of us were high or anything this weekend.
Yeah, no. But it did kind of feel like that kind of moment. I was just like, it comes out of nothing.
There was a
seemingly,
moment. There was a
right?
moment at night. So where we stay up at the cabin is in this like studio cabin. So it's a big room with the wood burning stove like propped up in this kind of makeshift fireplace. And the kids are on a pull-out couch and you and I are in the bed. And we went to sleep with like the wood was hot and was going, but it wasn't like jumping big flames.
And that was because of me.
And then there was a moment in the night where it
caught
caught.
on. Yeah.
And it was like these huge big flames. And I mean, in this dark, big room, that woke me up because it's
Oh.
really bright. And then there are like shadows dancing on all of the walls. And I also had a moment of like, wow, this is amazing. It's incredible. Like the fire is amazing. So I want to talk to you about, we have a few more minutes. I want to do an impression of you texting.
Oh, okay.
And then you were laughing at me texting yesterday for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Why?
Because when you text, you always, if it's like a fun text, you have this big toothy grin on your face, and you're like, while you're texting, and it's really cute and it's adorable, and it delights me.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. It's
I thought
it's
you were
funny.
making fun of me for. Okay. Well, when you text, you have the conversation out loud that you would like to be having in person, kind of.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like you're trying on for size, like how it's going to land, like the tone that this text is coming across with. So you're like,
yeah.
you do this voice thing, like, as you're typing the text.
Yeah.
It is so strange to me.
Yeah. It's not great.
What's up?
Didn't you say the other day, outside of texting, I feel like I've been doing that stuff more in other things where you're like, you're making noises.
Well, yeah, if you're watching like YouTube videos or something next to me when we're in bed and you have your earbuds in, you'll be like, like you're making weird, and you're watching some geeky like music synth video.
Gear video, yeah.
And you're having a very like uncontained physical vocal reaction.
God, I wonder how much weird. Do I have like a bunch of weird tics like that, or is that kind of the main one?
The texting and emailing, like, hey, it's pretty weird. Yeah, you have a lot of weird, but so do I. So does everyone.
No. I'm not getting like in my head about it.
If we can say anything after the last 3 weeks of watching Love is Blind, people are so fucking weird.
Yeah.
I can't. I think we're fine. Our weird things are just fine.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just thinking like the, I don't know. I work with like new people in a creative way, and I'm spending like, all day in a room with them. And I wonder, like, some of them might, leave a session and be like, yeah, really nice guy, but like kind of at one point he was like mumbling to himself about something. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Who knows? I'm just saying there's probably
I think especially in your world, you're probably the like there's strange odd ducks.
Sure.
In your line
No,
of
yeah. Again, I'm not in my head about it, but it's funny to think of. We all do weird, quirky things that sometimes we're not
What do I
aware of.
Besides toot.
Yeah, yours is just smiling, which is great. Yeah, you don't have any big tics.
It's funny. We actually got into kind of a legitimate argument probably a year ago. And I still, to this day, don't know what it was or why. But you commented that I had my fingers up.
Oh, yeah.
You commented that, like, I had my fingers up by my nose a lot recently.
Yeah.
Which... And you seemed annoyed by it or something that I did. And I was like, that is rich coming from you, and who's resting, like, go-to resting experience when we're in bed watching TV or when you're, like, relaxed. You rest two fingers above
Oh, fuck you, Elizabeth. I'm kidding.
But I don't get it.
No, you want to know if I can go back in time? I remember this incident.
Did you?
I think it was literally. Do you know how sometimes you, and I don't mean you, I mean everybody, you just notice things that are novel because they're happening more often? Kind of like your gas situation the last 3 weeks. For whatever reason, that was on my radar. Like you were holding, like it seemed new to me, like you were doing every time. And I mentioned it, and then it devolved. I do remember that. I do.
Well, it's just a weird thing. You mentioned it though with judgment. I don't know if it was something that you felt like something about yourself you don't like. I don't know, but it was so weird. But I've thought about it a few times since then, because I do sometimes do that, or I like play with my lips, like I touch my lips or something when I'm thinking or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was truly the pot calling the kettle black in that case. Thoughts and feelings.
It just feels like another thing you filed away with my file of fuck ups.
Unresolved.
There's like an unresolved section. That makes total sense. No, but I do think it was just. Yeah, I do think it was. Yeah, weird thing. Probably shouldn't have mentioned it. Speaking of like, probably shouldn't have mentioned that. That does seem like a big takeaway of watching that Love Is Blind show. You're like, why are you saying these things, you fucking idiot?
Yeah, you don't
Shut
need to.
your mouth. You don't have to like
A
say your
filter
inner
sometimes is nice.
Yeah, you don't have to say your inner dialogue out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of the people on that show do that. And it's hurtful
It's very hurtful.
and mean. Like, we're just talking about how I noticed you putting your fingers under your nose, and maybe I did say it with judgment, maybe not, maybe I did. But that kind of stung, right? A little bit.
Well, it seemed judgmental. It would be as though you were saying, "Hey, I've been noticing that you've been farting a lot," coming from someone who is almost taking it to an art form. So I'm like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
But I think also, and maybe it was my delivery. But getting to my point, though, it didn't feel great, right? For some reason, right? Maybe it was my judgment, or
yeah.
right? It didn't feel good.
Yeah.
So that didn't feel good. Where these people are saying stuff that it's like, why would you even say that to this person? Like, there's no even need to say it. It's just like common courtesy.
Well, also just it seems like self-sabotage. I mean, the example that you're thinking about, the examples, is that multiple dudes on the show who the premise again, I can't believe we're talking about I cannot believe we're talking about this. The premise of Love Is Blind is that these people are sitting across from each other with a wall between them. They can't see each other. They go on dates. They fall in love. We've established very quickly. They propose to each other. Then they get to see each other. Then they spend this
3 weeks, maybe?
a couple weeks together, like sorting out if they're going to get married or not. And then their families come and they come to the wedding. And then at the wedding, basically they either say I do or I do not. And you're like watching this going like, these people are insane. Or in some cases, like maybe it could work. I don't know. But
Yeah.
during the course of those 3 weeks, they also get to see the other contestants. In some cases, there were a few people who were like, I really like these two women, but I'm actually going to let myself like really fall in love with this one woman.
Yeah.
Well, the two of the men this time, and there are 5 couples, 2 out of the 5 men, when they saw the other contestants, basically clearly decided, oh, that other woman that I liked is way hotter than the woman that I ended up picking.
Mm-hmm.
And in both cases, told the woman that they picked basically that.
And in a way that they thought there would be no repercussions almost.
Yes, in a way that they thought they'd be like, oh, yeah. And then one of them stuck to the story throughout the 3 weeks in such a way that I was so confused because the girl that he picked, we're talking, of course, about Bartise and Nancy.
We're going to do this damn thing.
Bartise
That's a trademark line.
picked Nancy, and Nancy's a fucking adorable little hottie. Like, I don't see, but the way his family members, his friends talk about her is as though he has chosen like someone that is just undeniably repulsive looking or something. It is
it's really
so
bizarre.
weird. I'm so thrown by this whole thing. But another thing I realize is like Bartise is a narcissist. And I think this show probably appeals to narcissists. Like to think, oh, I'm going to go on this reality show and like for me, the story is going to be that I'm going to find my wife this way. And like, also I might get famous doing this. And also I might blah, blah, blah. I mean, it doesn't appeal to like your everyday. Not many people would go this route. Yeah. I would assume.
The other crazy thing, I mean, we all know that reality TV, how produced it is.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
No, I don't think you do, but put a pin in that so you remember.
Okay.
But I was listening to I like to listen to these skateboard podcasts. Shout out the 9 Club, and Rob Deerdeck was on an episode I was listening to, and you remember he had like Robin Big Show, he had Fantasy Factory, but one thing he mentioned, which like I never thought of, he was just like, you don't understand how draining it is. And he was like, when they decided to start Fantasy Factory, he's like, I couldn't do it at my house anymore because I guess Robin Big was at his house. Like, the crew shows up at 9 a.m. in the morning, and they're there till 9 p.m. at night all day for like 3 months straight. And he's like, it is so draining.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah,
and I was like, fuck, I never imagined like how much footage they have of these people to then weave into these stories. But that was the first time I'd heard that, where I was like, damn, that's intense. Even thinking about like Sister Wives, which is interesting because those episodes seem, I'm like, you're recycling the same thing over and over.
Oh yeah,
maybe they
those
don't shoot
people
that long.
are artistes. I mean, they get 1 hour on the couch each season with each like cast member.
Yeah.
And piece it all together, and they're going back to the same stuff over and over and over. It is. I'm about to record another episode with Casey and June to wrap up season 17. Wow. But yeah, they don't. They have some sort of deal worked out where they don't have to get
not putting in those hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
what did you think
when
I
I was
say?
on Love Is Blind, there was a moment that I was like, oh my gosh, this is. It's nice that they're showing us this, but there was this total tool. I mean, so many of the men, I will say, like, so many of the men on the show just seem like such douchebags. And then so many of the women just seem, I'm just now stereotyping genders, but pretty, like, unbalanced. And in fact, Nancy, I would say, out the gate, we were like, oh, this lady's annoying and kind of out there, and then she seems to be the one with her head on her shoulders. But there was, I think his name was Joe, and he came in wanting to paint such a picture of himself. Like, on one of the first dates, he's talking about the tantric sex he's had, and he's always talking about, like, he sold his tech business and then decided he needed to travel, and it was when he was in the bush in South Africa on safari, he realized, like, my true passion is animal photography, and there's nothing like waking up at 3 a.m. and holding still in one position, your legs are cramping. Like, the way he talked about himself and his endeavors, you can tell he's someone who chooses every life choice based on how is going to sound to other people when he tells them about it. And, you know, talking about his expensive car and his fancy apartment and all of this. He was just such a tool. I couldn't stand him. Not real at all. And he proposed to Nancy, actually.
Yeah.
And Nancy said no, to her credit, which I'm like, she saw through him. Why couldn't she see through Bartise and how terribly he treated her? But then Nancy, I can't believe I'm talking about this fucking stupid show for so long and in such depth. Okay. Nancy was like, no, Joe's not really real. Like, we haven't gotten past the surface. And so then in the follow-up interview with Joe and the producers, this was as behind the curtains as I've ever seen a reality show get.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Where Joe's talking about
being rejected
by Nancy. And now you would assume a man like Joe actually would not want to show too much emotion. Like, the prideful thing would be to act like the rejection didn't hurt that much.
Sure.
And like, he, you know, if he had a bruised ego, I think he would be like, you know.
Yeah.
But what he did instead was he whipped out the Visine and was creating fake tears to have them dripping down his face for this interview, to be saying, yeah, I was surprised. I really thought we had something special.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind.
But the show showed the footage.
The producers showed him going, are we rolling? Totally straight-faced, no emotion, whipping out the Visine, getting the fake tears going.
And he even asked the producer, like, is it okay if I use this? Being like, can I do fake tears? And the producer was like, if your eyes are dry, or like the producer had the perfect answer.
Yeah.
But what
that's crazy.
I really thought that was a very cool thing that this show showed.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a reality show like on purpose lean into that style.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like you almost wonder if like these shows are so produced, it's almost like, did they tell him to do the Visine and make it look like they didn't do it?
Right.
Which also is brilliant if this is how they pieced it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like either way you slice it, it was like a fun moment behind the curtain, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, listen to us talking about Love is Blind. We don't like the show.
I
It is
don't,
not-
and I regret starting it.
Yeah, but we have to finish it now. We only have 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
But never again. And we'll wait for Love Island this summer. That's the only
Yes.
reality show we need. We don't need anything
Well,
else.
the Great British
That's a
Baking
different.
Show.
That's a different.
That's not really reality.
Yeah, that's a dream. That's a magical, fluffy dream that hugs you.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Well, we did it. We talked about UFOs. We talked about string theory. We all know what string theory is now. We understand it fully.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about my me having my fingers under my nose,
Sorry about
my bean consumption. We've covered it all. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week.
that. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.